Hello, I'm Mark Sumner, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and today I have Dan Hills, the commercial director of HFI, not in the studio, Dan, actually at Tottenham Hotspur Football Stadium. Now, are you a football fan?
I am, yep.
Who'd you support?
Brighton.
Well, I'm an Arsenal fan, I shouldn't even be here, but actually, on that note, what a fantastic location and event and space for one of these events. And I wanted to ask you about that as the first off, really, because vendors put on events like this. Why is it important for partners like you to come to events like this and meet with the vendors face to face? Why is it a good thing?
I think it's really important for visibility more than anything, Mark, to be honest with you. It's, understanding where vendors are going, how they're supporting their partners, how they're supporting driving growth, all of that sort of stuff. And these types of events is always good to meet people in the flesh as well, but just understanding where that vendor and partner is going is really important to a business. What
is the main reason you actually work with SonicWall? Because vendor events are happening all the time, they're collaborating with partners, but you've come here today. What's the reason that you, HFI, are actually working with them?
I think their support around their partner model is really good. Relationships are a key part of that. I've known a few people at SonicWall for a long period of time, but they're very visible always. They're very supportive. Their product portfolio is evolving. Really, I feel that they're a hot vendor in the UK right now, globally as well. I just find them a really good partner to work with. Very transparent, very supportive, as I said, and they tick all the boxes in terms of what they provide to us as a partner, but also where they're going as well.
You've mentioned they're a hot vendor.
Yep.
Describing SonicWall as a hot vendor. Lots of vendors out there, lots of competition. What gives SonicWall the edge in this competitive market?
I think their overall product portfolio and their support mechanisms around that at the moment. So if you go back historically, and I think they're moving away from that, but they've been known as a firewall vendor, and they obviously still are, but there's so much more to what they're doing. The piece around cloud secure edge, I think, for access with users, I think is really key. We're having the same conversations over and over again with certain customers at the moment. That's a big challenge. What they're doing there with CSE, I think, is very, very impressive. And also their support model around how they support partners, particularly us as a young business. We're still in the early days, really, but the support mechanisms they have in place to help drive us forwards, I think when you look at it from a partner's point of view, that's really key.
Now, you have recently become a SonicWall partner and joined the Secure First Partner Programme. What's your experience so far of the onboarding process? Has it been good?
Has been good, yeah. We've leveraged relationships that we've had at SonicWall. I have to say Tristan's been great as part of that. I've known Tristan for over a decade and been very helpful. But the overall onboarding process has been easy. Nothing's been too much of a challenge for them. They've been very supportive, both from a commercial point of view, but also a technical point of view. So with my business partner, but him being the more technical one of the two of us. And yeah, they've just given us all the resources that we need to get to a point where we're comfortable fulfilling and delivering projects and services with the SonicWall portfolio.
Dan, let's talk customers. What's the biggest headache you're seeing with customers? What do they actually need to fix in the market? And that could be existing and prospects you're talking to.
When it comes down to SonicWall in particular, but in the cybersecurity space, is that whole remote access piece. So moving away from that traditional SSL VPN model, more to a controlled user access approach. We're having the same conversations over and over again with certain customers around, well, how do we do that? How do we manage that? And that whole zero trust piece is huge. So that conversation is happening a lot, and I think that's a big part of where SonicWall's going and where we're going as a business too.
Let's talk about where you're going as a business, because you've recently joined the programme. Are you seeing that's going to contribute to profitability in 2026? Do you see it going to be a good relationship?
Yes, definitely. I think for us, that's a big part of it. The standalone projects, as you like, is obviously a big part of what someone like ourselves do, but helping drive our profitability around recurring revenue, around the managed service provision that SonicWall offer, I think that's going to be key for us moving forwards over the next 12 to 24 months. And what we do with our existing customers, there's conversations going on there at the moment. And also with prospects, I think that's a really valuable conversation to have, to say, like, hey, we're not just doing one-off projects, we're actually with you to support you moving forwards and with the vendor as well. That's one of the main things I like about SonicWall.
Dan, you've been a great guest. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Cheers.